right, today we are diving into something you've probably never thought about, the surprising origin of audiology. And trust me, it's a story that doesn't start where you'd expect, like a quiet lab or a university. Nope. It starts on the deafening battlefields of World War II.
So that brings us to the big question, right? What on earth connects the sheer chaos of a World War II battlefield to the tiny, precise technology inside a modern hearing aid? One is just this world of explosions and noise. The other is all about quiet healing. But as we're about to find out, the second was born directly from the first.
So let's set the scene. Our story kicks off not in some sterile, quiet laboratory, but right in the middle of the thunderous, relentless noise of the Second World War. I mean, you have to understand, this was, without a doubt, the loudest war in all of human history. The sheer scale of industrial warfare literally turned sound itself into a weapon, and it created this new, invisible kind of casualty that would end up haunting an entire generation. Just try for a second to imagine what that sounded like. It wasn't just a single explosion here and there. It was this constant, overlapping, relentless noise. You had the shriek and crash of artillery, the grinding roar of tank engines, the percussive blast of machine guns, and the drone of aircraft overhead all at once. It was a complete and total acoustic assault, 24/7. And the results of this constant sonic beatdown, well, it was a medical crisis on a scale that absolutely no one was prepared for. And look, we're not talking about a few isolated cases. We are talking about thousands of service members coming back from the front lines with significant, life-altering, and often permanent hearing loss. These were young men, you know? Now they're struggling just to hear their families, to find a job, to fit back into civilian life. It was a massive, silent epidemic. And the medical world at the time, they were just not ready for this. The two main fields that handled this stuff were audiology, that's the surgical specialty for the ear, and speech pathology, which focused on therapy. But they were basically working in their own separate silos, and neither one was really equipped to handle this new, very complex challenge. And this created this huge gap in care. Think about it. An otologist, a surgeon, could patch up a ruptured eardrum from a blast, no problem. But they had zero tools to help a soldier actually relearn how to process sound. And on the other side, a speech pathologist could help a soldier who was struggling to speak clearly, but they couldn't diagnose the hearing loss that was causing the problem in the first place. You had this giant chasm right down the middle of hearing care. So this gap, this massive crisis, it became this urgent reason for a change. Military and medical leaders realized pretty quick they couldn't just keep doing what they'd always done. They had to invent something totally new. And that led to this really critical realization. They figured out that hearing loss wasn't just a mechanical problem in the ear. No, it was a problem of perception, of the brain's ability to process sound, and of a person's ability to even function in the world. They needed a science that could tackle the entire experience. So a new mission was set, and it was urgent. The goal was to build a completely new integrated discipline from the ground up, one that could scientifically diagnose the problem, precisely measure it, and then actually develop strategies to treat it. And right from the crucible of that wartime crisis, answering that very call, a brand new field of science and medicine was forged: audiology. And there it is, audiology. Now, the key thing to get here is that it's a hybrid field. It was designed to pull in the surgical knowledge of otology, the rehab skills from speech science, and then mash them together with physics, acoustics, and the brand new electronics technology of the time. It was built specifically to fill that medical gap we were just talking about. And this new approach, it wasn't just a single fix. It was a whole process. First, you get a comprehensive diagnosis, using new gadgets called audiometers to map out exactly what a person could and couldn't hear. Second was oral rehabilitation, and this part was revolutionary. It involved teaching things like speech reading and auditory training to help the brain adapt. And finally, technological intervention, actually fitting soldiers with the first generation of wearable electronic hearing aids. The speed at which this all happened is just incredible. In 1945, the word audiology is just starting to be used in military hospitals. Just 1 year later, 1946, it's already a formal university program. And by the end of the 1940s, it's a full-fledged academic and medical profession. That is a stunning pace of innovation, driven completely by necessity. So fast forward to today, What does all of this actually mean for us? Well, this wartime invention didn't just help out one generation of soldiers and then disappear. It built a lasting legacy that continues to transform lives all over the globe. The change was, well, it was nothing short of revolutionary. Before the war, hearing care was basically just ear trumpets. Seriously. Afterwards, we have advanced diagnostics. We went from only focusing on physical injuries to a holistic approach that involves the brain and technology. A whole new specialized profession was created where there was nothing before. And that's really the heart of the story. It's such a powerful reminder that sometimes, out of the absolute worst, most destructive circumstances, you get these incredible, life-changing innovations. A desperate need to help soldiers coming home from a world war became the unexpected spark for a scientific revolution that today helps millions and millions of people hear the world a little more clearly. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other modern innovations that we just take for granted every single day, the tech we use, the medicine we rely on, what else was born from a moment of intense pressure and global crisis? Definitely something to think about.